Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Welcome to our Tuesday Namaste experience. Let's just take a deep breath together as we start in prayer, asking for divine guidance, asking for the straight path to be revealed easily and naturally, to be guided perfectly. I was just off to the side singing a little prayer and thought maybe we'd begin with that. It's the prayer that I always try to remember to say or to pray or to sing at least a few lines because they help to center me and all of us in that place of openness where we can allow that divine spark to begin moving through us. So I'm going to invite you to take a deep breath. And I'll just sing this a cappella. And we'll just allow this prayer to be our point of entry. I am here only to be truly helpful. And I am here to represent the one who sent me. I do not have to worry about what to say or what to do, for the one who sent me directs me back to you, back to you. For I am here only to be truly helpful. And I am here to represent the one who sent me. I am content to be where love wishes, knowing God goes there with me. I will be healed as I let God teach me how to heal. For I am here only to be truly helpful. Yes, I am here only to be truly helpful, truly helpful. Let's take a deep breath together. We acknowledge that we are here only for one reason. The path becomes very simple when we realize that we're only here for one reason, and that is to extend the source of love that is our true identity, to be the extension of the love and the loveliness of God. Everything else becomes easy, simple, blessed, unified, when that's our one desire, when that's our one focus, as opposed to the direction of the ego, which is to have many focuses and many directions and many ideas and many projects and many of this and many of that, to keep you distracted from the simplicity of salvation. Just how simple awakening, enlightenment, healing can be if you realize that you're already enlightened and already healed. The quest for enlightenment is really the denial of that natural perfect state that you are. One day, if I study enough and read enough or come to the whatever this is enough, one day I'll be enlightened. That's actually the denial of the fact and the truth that enlightenment simply means filled with light. and you are filled with light now, in this moment. There is no other possibility. We just need to acknowledge it, and we acknowledge it by making it our single desire. And it becomes our single desire when we choose to extend that, to give that away, to see that everywhere, to see it in everyone, no matter what. Maybe in particular, the people that it's hardest to see in. To know that they are filled with light, that the truth and the wholeness and the brightness of this amazing experience is within them right now, no matter what. I'm sure we could all think of people in our lives that this is hardest to do. Maybe it's a public figure, maybe it's a member of our family, a member of our community, who knows? But that's the work, to be willing to see them as God sees them, as whole and as filled with light. And the same thing applies to healing. The truth is, there's nothing in you that truly needs to be healed, because when you have a single desire to radiate the source of light and love that you are, healing is natural. It's just simply, well, when you take your focus off your body, as Vicky says every day, give it no mind, give whatever seems to be happening no mind, there is an alignment that takes place. Now, that will usually, often, hopefully, show up in the body in one way or another, but it has to be adopted and accepted first in spirit. Okay, so this is going to form the basis of our sharing today. What is enlightenment and what is healing, and how are they aligned? So I'm going to read a little something that came through last night, and we'll go from there. Let's get this out of the way. Here we go. All right, here we are. Enlightenment and healing. What are they? Spiritual enlightenment means perceiving spiritual reality where human concepts seem to be. Perceiving spiritual reality where human concepts seem to be. That's what enlightenment is. Spiritual healing means perceiving what is whole where illness seems to be. Perceiving what is whole where illness seems to be. That's the key word, where it seems to be, where it appears. Do you see how these two are really the same? Enlightenment requires seeing through the seeming reality to reality itself. I should have put that second reality with a capital R. Reality itself, the truth, wholeness. Healing requires looking past what seems to require healing to what could never be in reality. Looking past or through what seems to need healing. This is the vision of God. This is how God sees, and it's also how God heals, or the Christ within you. And you can do the same. And here's the key, but only if it's your one desire. If this experience, and it is an experience, is your one desire, healing, enlightenment, wholeness occur on their own because they are true. They are the only truth, the only reality that exists in the mind of God. Wholeness, oneness. And if that oneness is your one desire, you will experience it. It is inevitable. And that's why we come together here every day to simply hold the frequency of that experience. That's all we're really doing, is holding a frequency together. It's kind of like in an orchestra. Right before the symphony begins, there is what you could perceive as a kind of cacophony of sound. When first the violinist plays a note, right? One note. And then everybody else, they start playing their instrument. They attune to that note. so that they are in perfect harmony, right? Everybody's tuned together now, but it begins with the, what do you call the first violinist, right? The first violin, what is it? Is it the oboe? Thank you. It's been a while since I've been to a symphony. So it's the oboe, I guess, who plays the first note, and everyone attunes the oboe. That's interesting that it's a wind instrument. A wind instrument being that breath that moves through this hollow instrument, right? Just as the breath of spirit moves through this hollow instrument, the body, right? And everything else attunes to it. This is the Christ within you, the breath that moves through you. We come together in this way, whether it be me or Vicky or anyone else, Eliza, we allow that tone, that frequency to be sounded, and then we allow our frequency to rise to meet that. And then you probably feel that throughout the day. I'm sure you do. As you're going throughout the day, that tone, that frequency is always kind of there, humming in the background, because you started the day by attuning your frequency to oneness, that single desire for reality itself. And that's why this is such a beautiful gift for us to join, to come together, to lift our frequency, to remember, because it's so easy. I talk sometimes about the gravitational pull of the ego. It's so easy to be pulled back because we're so accustomed to the egoic frame that is always trying to keep us here. Don't get too far out. Don't lift too high, because then there comes a point where the gravity can no longer pull you back. Don't go there. That's the one agreement that you made before time began. It's like the ego, or the part of your experience that doesn't want you to fully accept this, will allow a certain degree of acceptance because it keeps you somewhat satisfied. I've used the analogy before of a dog tied to a rope that's staked in the ground, running around in a circle. Excuse me, if that dog were tied to a rope about a foot long, it wouldn't be able to go very far and would not be very content. It would realize more quickly that it's actually tied. But if that dog is given a good amount of rope to run around in a circle at extremely fast speeds, that dog may think that it's going somewhere. Look how fast I'm running. I must be going somewhere. But if you're running in a circle, you're not going anywhere at all. And that's what the ego does. That's what we do when we're locked within that egoic frame. And what we need to do first is what? In order to be untied, because we can't do it on our own, what do we need to do first? Stop running. Hold still. Realize that we've gone nowhere, that we've never really accomplished what we wanted or received what we really wanted, and hold still so that we can be untied. Then we run. So this is the experience that we attune to every day. We come here to hold still. We come here to allow the spirit to take hold. We come here with a single desire, a single longing. Don't underestimate the power of longing. That holy, I was reading something yesterday, a beautiful book by Cynthia Bourgeault, and she talked about the longing of Mary Magdalene. How Mary Magdalene longed for the Christ. And that's why she was the first to see the Christ or Jesus after the resurrection. It was that longing. In other words, there's only one thing that I want. There's only one experience that I'm in desiring, and that is to know who I am and to extend only that, to be the source of that love. So thank you for being part of this beautiful orchestra. Thank you, whoever that wonderful oboe player just was, because now we're attuned. Now our frequency is ready. And then the conductor tick, 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 taps on the little thing and we begin. So, Vicky, I have tapped and now you begin. Handing it over.
Good morning, Brother James. Boy, if I could sing, I would sing right to your oboe. But
She was singing a little while
I
ago.
was singing, but I wouldn't do that to you all. But, you put everything together, and the most helpful thing you said was when you see that you're running in a circle, what do? Stop. It's stopping and realizing this is not working. That's all. It's not good or bad. This doesn't seem to be happy or helpful. So if we stop and we really turn our mind to holy authority instead of to the thinking mind that keeps running in circles, we call it the Holy Spirit. And we ask the Holy Spirit, I want to see holiness. I'm really running in circles here. And the purpose of our mind is to keep that thought of holiness, of God, of Spirit. And all we're shown to do is see the Spirit in everything. That's all that happens. When we see the Spirit in everything, we're untethered. We're not on a leash anymore. We're not going in circles. Things may change a lot or not, but we're seeing the Spirit. We're seeing differently because we stopped and we put our mind under true authority, under the authority of our Christ, under the authority of God. Jesus tells us in every which way, let our mind be single. Keep our mind on a thought of God, of holiness, of beauty, of love. If we use our mind only to let holiness reside there, when we look out, we will see what we've been holding in our mind. We've been holding in our mind some ideas of being separate from God and guilty for it, so we see a world all upside down, guilty, separate, and sick. But if we can look from our holiness, and when we're not, simply stop and ask for that corrective, please help me to see through holiness, through love, through what God is, what the experience of it would be for me. And then look out and look for the Spirit in each thing, in everyone and everything, and pay the rest no mind. Just don't worry about it. Don't worry if it's falling apart or if it looks sensational. Just pay attention to the Spirit and sit and join with that Spirit. Just like I go every day to the office here. There are 500 apartments. But I go every day to the office because this is our new family. And like with any relationship, you nurture it by loving it in your presence. So I just go to say hello or bring a cookie or say, just sit a moment. And then I can see like the gravitational pull to the ego is strong, where people want to, they start gossiping or they start telling whatever. But the gravitational pull to holiness is stronger if we are stronger. And I see it every day here. The girls sometimes will be and I'll come in and they'll just join me because I don't say don't do that. I just sit there and I'm with them and I love them. And I do love them because I see their little souls like these delightful dancing spirits. And they entrain to that because everyone wants to entrain to happiness. And in the end, we're here to do the only thing I know we can do is keep our minds somehow on God, however we experience that, or under God control, Holy Spirit control. And then we're here to love. And we love because we see that same presence everywhere. And then the result is joy. It's the natural byproduct, whether it's the healing of a body or the healing of an environment, or it becomes joyful, not dependent on how it shows up. Some may put their bodies down, some may keep them, all kinds of things. We may change this and that, but the outcome of having God on our mind, and Jesus says this in the Course, he said, listen, don't deal with minutia, give it to me. I need to have you use your mind for the atonement. The atonement means keeping your mind on God, the oneness that we are, and then live from that, breathe from that. That's the sound that we bring wherever we go. So And then the result is joy. That's why we have to keep a pitch of joy.
Love that. Wow. Always so simple, always so practical. Thank you, Vicky. Teddy,
Thank
what would you like to share around that?
Well, I don't know. When you were talking earlier, my head opened up. And when that happens, there's nothing to say.
Right.
Just an experience. But I was thinking, what they say in the 12-step program is insanity is repeating the same mistake over and over again and expecting different results. And that's what the ego does. It does the same thing over and over again. You do the same thing over and over again. And every time you do it, you think it's going to be different. And it never is. It always ends the exact same way. So it's just interesting. But it is true. You know, I've had these experiences, and I know everybody gets this. So at some point in time, because I know time is already over and we're living toward the end of it. So I just sit there and watch. And you can see when it sort of dawns on somebody. And it dawns on them in strange ways, in strange places, and for strange reasons. But it really does. So everybody's going to get this in the end. And we're here to represent the certainty of that end being right now.
Right now. Yes. You know, Teddy, you mentioned that you felt your head just open. That sounds strange to people who have never heard that before, don't really know what that means. And you can't explain it to someone with words anyway. You can demonstrate it. And as you're talking, I began to feel the same thing. And it reminds me of when we, Vicky, Teddy, me, Amarit, when we lived at Endeavor Academy in Wisconsin, usually what would happen when we would join together every morning for our sessions, the music would go on and there would be 150, 200, even 300 people in the room, and it would just go to light. And we would just hold that frequency together, like that orchestra that begins to attune to the sound of that one chord, that one note. So here's what I would invite you to do. Just for a moment, close your eyes and get out of your head. Don't think about this for a moment and just see if you can feel, see if you can sense the brightness of this light and give yourself to it. Don't let there be any words. Don't try and put a concept to it or any ideas at all. Just give yourself a moment to the brightness of this light. Let it open you up. Let's hold still for a moment within that fire. When we join together in this way, there are only two words that come into my mind. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for this gift. Thank you for this moment. Thank you for this joining. Just thank you. So today, as we begin to move into whatever relationships or dealings or situations we are called, bring this with you. Carry this frequency with you, this light. Like Vicky going and just sitting with the ladies in the office. Carry that light. People will feel it. You don't need to talk about it at all. In fact, it's better if you don't. Just carry the light. And let people, you be that oboe today. Each one of you, choose to be the oboe everywhere you go, so that when you come in contact with people, they just naturally begin to attune to that same frequency. And when that's your only desire, I promise it will be your only experience. And so it is. Thank you, everyone. We are blessed to be here together, to join. Keep coming back. So something else they say in the 12 steps, keep coming back. So your job is to carry this frequency today, and all of us will do the same. Let's go ahead and we will do our final prayer together as we launch into exactly that. Oh, what did I do here? I forgot to hit. Oh, well. Those of us at Namaste can see this, but the rest of you may not be able to see this right now, and that's okay. But let's go ahead and we'll do it together. Here we go. The light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. And so it is. Thank you, everyone. Namaste.
Thank you. Love you.
Happy Tuesday.
Love you all.
Thank you.
Namaste.
I love you
Thank
all.
Love
with
you
all
all. Bye now.
Bye-bye.
Love you.
Have a
Bye-bye.
good one.
Bye